All right, let's take a look at building our first component with EUI. We'll take a quick little look at what we're going to build. A little component for how good do you slide, which basically is going to render a different badge text and color based on where the slider is. It's going to be riveting work. I think this is definitely going to shape the future of Elastic. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's make sure we've got our development server running. If it's not, you can just start it up again with yarn start from your prototype directory, which again will load you up a localhost in your browser. So we put a panel in there, but we're going to pull, actually, let's put this inside of a div real quick because it's like, it's really big in there and I don't want it that big. So we're just going to go like this. I'm going to take this stuff and move it up. Then we're going to add some styles on, I'm not in all caps. I should have like a bingo card for all my spelling errors. So if you've never written styles in JSX or TSX before, it basically takes a style object, which is very similar to CSS, but not identical. So we're going to call margin. We're going to set a top and bottom margin of 5 rems and a left and right of auto. And then we're going to throw a max width on there of, I don't know, 60 rems, maybe. And we can do display flex. You could do these things with flex groups and stuff too, but laziness prevails. Display flex, we'll do align items center. You'll notice like what are the keys or whatever for CSS, the prop names and whatever are very similar here, but they're just camel cased in most instances. So if we do that, we should see, yeah. Oh, and justify content. What? I don't know what that was about. Bugger. Justify content center as well. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Let's, so some things we're going to need here. Let's look at our drawing. We're going to need a badge. We're going to need a slider. And I think that's about it from EUI. So import EUI badge. I like to do these things in alphabetical order. And EUI range slider. Is it range? Slider? Maybe just range. Let's look at the docs. Where we is forms. Oh my goodness. Range slider. So what do we have? Let's look at this here. That's EUI dual range. That's not what I want. Oh, this one right here. EUI range. Easy breezy. So I'm going to copy out one of these little buddies and just paste it in because that's easy. So paste that in there. This wants a unique ID. We can just hard code this in since we've only got one on the page. We need a min value, which we'll set it to 1. Set a max of 10. The value and onChange methods we need to create. So to do this, we're going to pull in, we're going to use state from React, and that's going to let us interact with state in a functional component. So we'll set a const, which is going to be an array of things, and it's basically just going to be value, and it's going to take a set value method as well that we'll call. These can be literally anything. I spent a really long time of my life trying to figure out the proper way to name these things before I realized that it just doesn't care. So value and set value, we're going to call the useState method. We're going to pass in an initial value, which we're going to use as our minimum, which we set to 1 down there. So we'll set it to 1 there. We also need something to handle the badge details. So let's just call these badge details. and set badge details. And we'll initialize this as an object. We can call useState again. You can use it more than once. I'm going to set this as an object of text, which is going to be that's a bad slide for 1, obviously. And we will set a default color of danger. There's probably more semantic and drier ways of doing this, but when you're building prototypes, it don't matter that much. So, which I think is why I like prototyping, because I don't have to worry about shipping this. Okay, where'd we leave off? So we'll set the badge details to an object with text and color, and then we're going to use those things here. Let's get some indentation right. I'm going to throw in EUI badge. And inside here is going to be our badge details.text. And in here is going to be our color of badge details.color. Right? So if we throw this up, oh wait, it's going to complain that we don't have an onChange method yet. So let's write that. Const onChange is going to take a fat arrow function. It's going to take an event, which we will spell out as event to make it nice and clear. Going to set the value, which is this function that we just created right there. So we're going to call set value, and we're going to pass it a new value to use event.target.value. And that's coming from basically what is populated through there. This also wants us to provide a type for the event, hence TypeScript. But to cheat, we're just going to let it be any. So it's going to take an object of basically any value, whatever. So let's start there, and we'll see how this is working for us over here. So there we go. We've got a value. We've got some min and max, and we have our text. Obviously, this isn't changing yet, so let's handle that. So come back over here, and obviously, we can do this inside the onChange function. So we're going to just write a quick little if statement. We're going to say if event.target.value is less than 4. So you could do this a couple of ways. We could be super clear and say less than or equal to 3 or less than 4. Since we're only doing full numbers or whole numbers, we're going to set badge details now with an object of text that says that's a bad slide and a color of danger. And then if this is, let's see, event.target.value. Oh, look at me go. If event.target.value is greater than or equal to 4 and less than, we'll say less than or equal to, I don't know what, 7. You gotta be a real good slider to get good points here. There we go. Then we're going to set badge details to warning and text of meh. And otherwise, obviously, it'll be the highest number, and we just need to set this as secondary. Oh, how do I type? Who hired me? Legit, who hired me? And much amaze. Oh, jeez. This thing would be like 4 minutes shorter if I was halfway decent at typing. Well, I don't know why it's not loading. All right, there we go. That's a bad slide. And there we go. Look at that. Look at that. It works. Woo. So that's that, right? So let's add some things on here because this is really I'd like this thing to be centered, and then we can remove some props from our stuff. So since I can't figure out actually what I'm doing, align items, center. What are we having? Oh, well, that would be why. We should put those styles on our panel. Let's take all of that. And we'll put it down here. There. And it should be flex direction column. Flex direction column. Boom. All right, now let's just remove some of our things. So we don't need labels. We don't need value. And there you have it. There is our slider, prototyped and ready to go. When we come back, I don't know why that's funny to me. When we come back, we will deploy this to Netlify, and you can send a link out to all of your friends. So until next time.